You know that specific kind of paralysis you get standing in the supplement aisle at the pharmacy?
Oh, I know it well.
It's always freezing, the lights are way too bright, and you're just staring at this wall of yellow bottles that all look exactly the same.
They all say fish oil. They all promise the same thing.
Right. A bulletproof heart, a brain, like a supercomputer. But then you pick one up, you turn it over, and it's just this dense block of numbers and words I don't understand.
It's the paradox of choice in its purest form. And honestly, the labeling regulations, they don't really help. It almost seems designed to confuse you.
Totally. We usually just treat it like we're buying batteries. You just grab a pack and hope for the best. But here's the thing that gets me. Any of us actually know how much we're supposed to take?
Most people are guessing. Definitely guess.
And that feels wrong.
Well, when you're dealing with bioactive compounds that influence your blood chemistry, guessing isn't the best strategy.
That is exactly why we are here. We are doing a deep dive into a brand new guide that just dropped. It's called Fish Oil Omega-3, How Much Should You Take? A practical guide by Laurent Fabian. And the mission today is to stop guessing.
We're going to strip away the marketing words, the ultra potency and the mega strength, and just look at the actual biology.
Okay, let's unpack this, because even before we get to the numbers, which we will, I feel like we have to deal with the alphabet soup.
Right.
I look at a label and I see EPA, then I see DHA, sometimes ALA. I feel like I need a chemistry degree just to figure out what I'm buying.
It can feel that way, but it's actually simpler than it looks.
Yeah.
If we strip it all down, you really only have two main characters in this story you need to worry about, EPA and DHA.
Okay, so if this were a movie, who are they? What do they do?
Think of them as your body's specialized maintenance crew. DHA is the architect. It's structural. It's incredibly abundant in your brain, in your retinas. It's the bricks and mortar.
Okay, so DHA is building the house.
Exactly, building the house. EPA, on the other hand, is more like the manager. It's functional. It's largely responsible for fighting inflammation, regulating blood pressure, and keeping your triglycerides. That's the fat in your blood in check.
So EPA keeps the pipes clean and the bad guys out, while DHA makes sure the walls don't fall down.
That's a very solid analogy. They're a team, but with distinct jobs.
Yeah.
Now, where people get tripped up is the source. Obviously, you have standard fish oil. It contains both.
Right, squeezed from anchovies or something. But then you see krill oil, and it's always marketed as the superior option. It's always more expensive. Is that just hype?
There is real science there, but it's often misunderstood.
Yeah.
The difference isn't just that it comes from tiny shrimp. The difference is molecular. In fish oil, the omega-3s are bound to triglycerides. In krill oil, they're phospholipid bound.
Okay, phospholipid bound. That sounds fancy, but why should I care?
You should care because your own cell membranes are made of phospholipids. So because the structure matches your biology, krill oil can, in theory, pass through your cell membranes more efficiently. It's all about bioavailability.
So it's like taking the express lane instead of getting stuck in traffic.
Precisely. But then there's the third player, which I think is actually the most interesting shift in the market lately. Algal oil.
The stuff from algae. I'll be honest, I always assumed this was just the I don't eat fish backup plan.
That's the common misconception. But think about it for a second. Where do the fish get their omega-3s from?
I assume they just make it?
Nope. They accumulate it by eating algae. So when you take fish oil, you're just getting filtered algae oil that's been processed through a fish's liver.
So the fish are just the middleman.
Or the middle fish.
Yeah.
When you take algal oil, you're cutting out that middleman and going straight to the source. And it's gotten so much better. It's not just a vegetarian alternative anymore. It's a primary, highly pure source.
I love that. Okay, so we have our alphabet EPA and DHA and our sources. But now let's get to the part where I think everyone, myself included, has been duped. The numbers.
The numbers game.
I have definitely bought the bottle that says 1,000 milligram fish oil in big bold letters on the front, taken one pill and thought, great, I've got my 1,000 milligrams of the good stuff.
And I really hate to be the one to tell you this, but that is the single biggest trap in the supplement industry.
Why? Is it false advertising?
It's not false, not strictly speaking, but it is incredibly misleading. 1,000 milligrams of fish oil just refers to the volume of the capsule, the weight of the pill.
You're kidding?
That oil is not pure EPA and DHA. It's got fillers, other fats, gelatin.
So I'm buying a 1,000-pound car and assuming I'm getting a 1,000-pound engine.
That is a perfect way to put it. You might have a 1,000 milligram capsule that only contains 300 milligrams of the actual active stuff.
That is wild. So I could be popping these huge pills and getting barely anything I actually want.
You absolutely could be. And the only way to know is to ignore the front of the bottle completely. Flip it over to the supplement facts panel. You have to do a little math.
Nobody likes math in the pharmacy aisle.
I promise it's a simple addition. Find the EPA number. Find the DHA number. Add them together. That is your real dose.
Okay, so let's say I do the math. I'm a regular, healthy adult. I just want to keep my heart ticking. What is the magic number I should be aiming for?
According to the Fabian guide we're looking at, for general health in healthy adults, the sweet spot is a combined EPA plus DHA intake of 250 to 500 milligrams per day.
That's it, 250 to 500. I feel like I see people on social media taking handfuls of this stuff.
More isn't always better. For general maintenance, that's the Goldilocks zone. The source suggests a practical starting point of about 300 milligrams a day.
So we aren't talking about mega dosing here.
Not for general health, no. And this is consistency is way more important than intensity. There's a great quote in the guide from a cardiology researcher who says, "Consistency matters more than a high one-time dose."
Ah, so it's a marathon, not a sprint. You can't just chug a bottle on Sunday because you forgot all week.
Please do not do that. But yes, the goal is long-term support. However, general health is a pretty broad bucket. The guide is very clear that one size does not fit all.
Right, let's break this down. Let's start with pregnancy. Does the omega-3 advice change?
It shifts completely. If you remember our analogy, DHA is the architect. During pregnancy, you are building a literal brain and nervous system from scratch. So the focus shifts heavily to DHA.
Because the baby needs the bricks.
Exactly. The fetus accumulates DHA rapidly, especially in the third trimester. And if the mother isn't getting enough, the baby will actually pull it from the mother's own stores. The guide recommends a target of at least 200 to 300 milligrams of DHA specifically per day.
Not just combined oil, but specifically DHA.
Yes, that distinction is vital. And this is where that whole anxiety about mercury and heavy metals in food comes in.
The tuna sandwich dilemma.
Exactly. And that's where algal DHA really shines. Because it's grown in controlled environments, it completely bypasses the ocean pollution. It's a clean, robust alternative without the anxiety.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, what about the other end of the spectrum? Older adults, maybe they're worried about heart health.
For older adults, the goal is often lipid balance and managing inflammation. The standard 250 to 500 milligram dose still applies for basic maintenance, but, and this is a big butter, but high-risk individuals might need to go higher, up to 1 gram per day, maybe more.
1 gram, so that's double the high end of the standard dose.
It is, but this raises a really important question about safety. You can't just decide to double your dose on a whim.
Why not? Is it just an upset stomach?
Well, maybe, but the real risk is mechanical. Omega-3s act as mild blood thinners. They reduce the stickiness of your blood platelets.
Which is good for preventing clots, right?
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
But think about it. If someone is already taking, say, warfarin or Plavix, or even just a daily baby aspirin.
And then they throw a gram of fish oil on top of that.
Exactly. You are stacking anticoagulants. That can significantly increase your bleeding risk. A nosebleed that won't stop, bruising easily.
Whoa. Okay, that is a serious check with your doctor moment. This isn't just a vitamin.
Absolutely. The guide emphasizes that this should be approached as omega-3 therapy, not just supplementation. It needs medical supervision.
I like that distinction. And speaking of therapy, the guide mentions a scenario where the doses get, well, startlingly higher.
Yes, this is where we bring in the heavy machinery. We're talking about treating hypertriglyceridemia, dangerously high triglycerides.
Right, the fats in your blood that really ramp up heart disease risk.
Correct. When we use omega-3s to treat this clinically, we're not talking about 300 milligrams. We're talking about 2 to 4 grams per day of EPA and DHA.
Wait, hold on. 4 grams. Let's do the math on that. If my standard drugstore capsule has, 300 milligrams of active stuff, I'd have to take like 12 or 13 pills a day.
You would be rattling when you walk. It's a massive amount of oil. And that's why at this level, we often move away from over-the-counter bottles entirely and into prescription options.
I didn't even know prescription fish oil was a thing.
Oh yeah, it's a very distinct category. FDA-approved drugs. They're highly purified, sometimes pure EPA, designed to deliver that massive dose efficiently.
And presumably with much stricter quality control.
Much stricter, and I cannot stress this enough. This must be done with a clinician. You have to monitor liver enzymes, lipid panels, and again, that bleeding risk.
So if you're listening and thinking, I have high triglycerides, I'll just go buy the jumbo tub and take 10 a day.
Please stop. Do not do that.
You mentioned oxidation briefly there, and I want to dive into that. But first, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, or maybe the fish in the room.
The side effects.
The burps. The dreaded fishy burps. It is the #1 reason people stop taking these things.
It is a valid complaint. The guide actually dedicates a whole section to it, because if you hate taking it, you just won't.
So how do we stop it?
First rule, take them with meals. Never on an empty stomach. It helps buffer the oil.
Okay.
Second, look for enteric-coated formulations. They have a shell that's designed to dissolve in your intestine, not your stomach.
That's smart, but the guide had one tip I thought was kind of genius.
The freezer trick.
Yes, putting the capsules in the freezer.
It sounds odd, but it works. Taking it frozen slows down the release of the oil, just enough that it digests more gradually as it warms up inside you.
Hot tip, freeze your fish oil. I love it. But you touched on something earlier, oxidation. The guide says that a fishy smell isn't just annoying, it might be a warning sign.
This is so critical. Most people don't know this. We just assume, oh, it's fish oil, it's supposed to smell fishy. It is not. Fresh, high-quality oil has a very mild scent.
So if I open the bottle and it punches me in the face with a fish smell?
That is the smell of rancidity. It means the oil has oxidized. The chemical bonds have broken down due to exposure to oxygen, heat, or light.
And rancid oil isn't just gross, right? It's actually bad for you.
It completely undermines the entire purpose of taking it. Oxidized oil can be pro-inflammatory.
Wait, so the thing I am taking to stop inflammation might be causing inflammation if it's rotten.
Exactly. You're defeating the purpose. Storage matters. Keep it in a cool, dark place, not the dashboard of your car.
Good to know. Okay, I want to pivot to diet for a second. We usually say food first. Does that apply here?
It absolutely does. The foundation should be dietary. The recommendation is 2 servings of fatty fish per week.
Salmon, mackerel, sardines.
Exactly. But I hear this a lot from the smoothie crowd. I don't eat fish, but I put chia seeds in my oatmeal. Isn't that enough?
Yes. The flaxseed and chia defense, those have omega-3s, right?
They do, but they contain a different type called ALA. And here's the biological hustle. Your body has to convert ALA into EPA and DHA to really use it. And humans are terribly inefficient at that conversion.
How inefficient are we talking?
Painfully low. We're talking maybe 5% to 10% of ALA gets converted to EPA, and the conversion to DHA is even lower, sometimes less than 1%.
Wow. So you're pouring chia seeds in, thinking you're covered, but your body is only accessing a tiny fraction of what you need.
Correct. It's like trying to fill a swimming pool with a thimble. You can't just sprinkle some flax and call it a day if you want the full cardiovascular benefit.
Okay, so a hybrid approach then. Eat seafood if you can, and if not, use an algae-based supplement to fill that gap.
That's the recommendation.
So before we wrap up, what's the final check before buying? We know to look for EPA DHA numbers. We know to check the smell. What else?
Third-party testing. The supplement industry is not regulated the same way as drugs. You want to look for seals from organizations like USP, IFOS, or NSF.
These are the people who actually test the stuff.
Yes. They verify what's on the label is in the bottle, and crucially, that it doesn't contain heavy metals like mercury or PCBs.
It's worth the extra 30 seconds to check the label for a stamp.
It is, definitely.
So let's recap the Goldilocks approach here because we covered a lot of numbers.
Sure. For most healthy adults, that sweet spot is 250 to 500 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA daily. Start around 300.
And if you're pregnant or breastfeeding,
shift your focus to DHA, at least 200 to 300 milligrams daily. Algal oil is a fantastic option there.
And if you're trying to lower very high triglycerides,
that's a medical intervention. 2 to 4 grams, strict medical supervision, and likely a prescription.
And for everyone.
Check the label. Add up the EPA and DHA. And keep it fresh.
It really comes down to what the guide said, practical dosing, not just potency. It's about giving your biology the right fuel, not just the most fuel.
Exactly. It's not about taking the most. It's about taking the right amount for you.
Here's a thought to leave you with today. We spend so much time worrying about the quantity of the oil we take, counting milligrams, comparing prices. But given what we just learned about oxidation, when was the last time you worried about the freshness of that bottle sitting in your cabinet?
It is a haunting question.
Is that bargain bottle you bought 3 years ago that's been sitting in a warm kitchen actually doing you more harm than good? Maybe it's time to go home and do a sniff test.
I think that is excellent advice.
Thanks for diving in with us. Stay curious, check your labels, and we'll see you next time.